Greetings, people. It's Jared here, Wolfcan1, back to do another Transformers review. So this week, I've decided to tackle a figure that I've been mulling over and putting off and just thinking, oh, I'll get to it some other time. And I thought to myself, if I keep doing that, I'm never going to review the bloody thing. So I thought, I'll take the opportunity to do it now as we're closing the year and I've got two more reviews to fill. So get this one done. And it gets another box off my shelf. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be taking a look today at Transformers Earthrise Siege Trilogy Netflix Special Edition fucking and all the other fucking names. Wheeljack.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, here is the Earthrise Wheeljack. Now, this one is a little bit different from the, I would call the wider general release version. The paint scheme's a little different. The white's a little different. It's I thought mine was sort of slightly yellow. It's not. It's the actual colour that the figure is compared to the mass release version, which was almost like a brilliant white. This is like a sort of dirty white. And I got a little bit confused when I bought this. I was in the market for an Earthrise Wheeljack, saw the test shop pictures, saw the mold, quite liked it, wanted to update my Generations version. And so I got this. The problem is that I wasn't really paying attention to what I was getting. And the reason I say that is because the paint detailing, where all the paint's scuffed and sort of things like that, that's not the first thing that caught my eye. And now it's the only thing that catches my eye whenever I see this figure. If I'd have actually just thought about it and been a little bit smart, I wouldn't have bothered with the sort of limited edition Netflix version. I'd have actually just gone for the wider release Earthrise, and got rid of all this fucking paint scuffing bullshit. Because for some reason, I say for some reason, I know why they've done it, and to give it like a sense of realism, like sort of battle scarring and things like that. This whole battle scarring thing has had varying degrees of success. On Kingdom Galvatron, it looks a bit shit, which is sadly the version I've got. On this, it doesn't entirely work. On Siege Megatron, it works in places, and I've got another figure I'll show in a minute, Siege Springer, where actually the damage actually quite suits him because it's on corners and things like that. I'll show that in a minute, just as a comparison. On this, it just kind of feels like splotches of paint without any like sort of any thought behind it at all. So I got this. I think I got this guy in TK Maxx actually for about 20 quid, and for a Netflix original series fucking figure, 20 quid. Not too bad because I appreciate they would probably go for a little bit more than the standard Earthrise. I just kind of wish that I'd thought about it and got the standard Earthrise. I don't know what it is. I mean, I'll show the figure itself in a minute. I don't know what it is about this figure in particular that doesn't quite do it for me. I quite like the mold. The head sculpt's fantastic. I'll get onto that in a minute. The box artwork is fantastic, just there and everything like that. But there's something about this figure that just kind of leaves me a little bit underwhelmed, and it's a shame because, if I could realistically identify what that is, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. But every time I look at this figure, I just go, yeah. However, I don't hate it. I don't have a venomous hate for it like fucking G1 Willy or G1 Bludgeon or some other stuff in my collection. I don't have a venomous hate for it. It just sort of I feel a bit sort of uh sort of meh about it. Like, yeah, whatever. It is what it is. So we're gonna crack straight onto this. I know this is I know Netflix series. They weren't a limited edition, but they feel like limited edition. But having said that, I'm going to throw the box away because I desperately need the room. So let's crack straight on into figure, accessories, and overall thoughts, shall we? Right, you are. Here is Netflix original series Earthrise Wheeljack. I've taken off his spoiler. Not that I didn't know it was a detachable piece at first. But it's a detachable piece just like the original G1 Wheeljack. So in terms of accessories, just to I'd be really pedantic about it. Left and right spoiler. One tiny little missile launcher that fits into his shoulder or can be used as a handheld weapon, and one instruction booklet that is really not worth the paper it's printed on. So let's, I was kind of hoping for like more of a like a shoulder rocket launcher and a handheld weapon just to be fucking greedy, but whatever. So there is Earthrise Wheeljack, and the first thing you'll notice is that he comes across in like sort of two tones, different shades of white, where they've obviously painted over certain clear plastics like here or whatever, and it's a fucking annoyance. It really is an annoyance. You've got this like almost brilliant white on the spoiler, and then this fucking dodgy piss white around here. For comparison, here is with the original G1 Wheeljack that I didn't realise was really, really, really dusty and filthy. I tried cleaning them up the best I can, but he is showing his age now. You know, not a lot I can do about that. So yeah, but he does look quite nice next to his next to the OG, if you will. In fact, it's been many, many years since I reviewed G1 Wheeljack, so I might do that in the new year. Hold on to your bollocks for that one. So here we are with Earthrise, and let's talk about this paint scuffing shit I was on about. Right, so obviously all along here, I mean, I don't know why I've got the little pointy thing. You can fucking see it. This splodge just here, I'm assuming it's supposed to be paint damage. It really doesn't look like that. If that's supposed to be a hole in his armor, then that obviously doesn't work with all these little bits just around here. There's another one just here. I don't know if they're supposed to be scorch marks or whatever. And then you've got more paint scuffing just here. Some of the paint scuffing kind of works. For example, this little bit just here. This bit along the arch doesn't. Again, doesn't here. This little bit just up here seems to work more than this bit down here. It just kind of feels like let's give them battle damage and everything like that, and the effects have been really, really hit and miss. I say the effects have been, the effects were really hit and miss, because this line is about 5 years old now, something stupid. And to be honest, it kind of detracts from the actual figure itself. I appreciate you want to give it a bit of gritty fucking realism, all these robots fighting a war, and you know, every once in a while they're going to get their paint scuffed. I get that, I do. There's something about the application of the paint which doesn't necessarily carry over. I mean, as I said, I'll talk about a really good example of where it does, right? And this is, from what I understand, the only thing about this figure that really does work. Here is Siege Springer. Okay, now have a look at the shoulder sections just here, these yellow sections, right? Where the silver scuffing on the corners and everything like that kind of looks like industrial machinery. Sort of the silver paint to represent the metal underneath the paint, really scuffing everything like that, really works well. On the green, it doesn't. It looks like shit. And down here is a sort of a decent mix between the two. This works a lot better than this shit here. This stuff here looks fantastic. I'm just using that as an example. Obviously, this isn't a review for Springer. I might do that at some point soon. We're talking about this thing here. So compared to the application on Springer, this here isn't really, for me, doing what it's supposed to. This section just here where you can see like where the paint is like sort of thinning out a little bit. I don't know if that's supposed to represent heat damage. It's got some more of the same. Where is it? Just here. Just here it's got that. And there's a little bit more somewhere else, if I can think of where the fuck it is. Yeah, just like sort of in these little bits just here. That to me doesn't really look like paint degradation for a battle ready robot either. That kind of looks to me like you spray painted this and the spray paint hasn't gone completely over what it's supposed to. So if you're trying to go for one effect, you're kind of getting a totally different effect by pure accident. So yeah, no discernible detail on the back. You know, considering you put this effort into all these paint splodges and fucking battle damage, it would have been nice if you'd painted in the fucking lights, but you know, whatever. And you've got, you know, the decent paint on the red and green here to represent Wheeljack's colours. Rolls very nicely on his black wheels, and again, so all this, right? But you haven't picked out the wheels from the black tires. You know, so much effort has gone into certain bits of it, and so much of the rest of it is like an afterthought. It's like I don't understand. Either settle on one thing, you know, but obviously they haven't. So, and that's the problem for me. This thing is like a mishmash of fucking styles and ideas and that, and they're not really complementing each other at all here. Like, I mean, talking about the paint degradation thing, like so just here, where you can see it's going a little bit blue. That just kind of looks like your air gun or your spray gun and that fucking ran out of paint before you were supposed to get there. That's what it looks like. I dare say that's not what the effect you were going for, but that's what it looks like. Apart from that, he's a decent alt mode. He's obviously not the same Lancia Delta sports car that he was in G1. This is something new-ish. I think this got repainted into, fuck me if I can remember, Sunstreaker maybe or something. Certainly an unusual choice for a reuse. I know they reused the mold. I think the choice that they made was an unusual one. But yeah, I mean, am I nitpicking over shit that doesn't matter? Of course I am. I'm a fucking Transformers reviewer. This shit, it does not matter in the grand scheme of things in the wider world. There are more important things going on other than the fact, did they apply enough paint to the fucking toy? But, you know, I've got to try and pad this review out somehow. So we are going to, about as much as I can say. You know, it's not entirely shit. Don't get me wrong. Decent shaped sports car, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's not entirely shit. It's just, it's not settling on one idea. And as a result, all the other ideas it is settling on or going for are compromised as a result. So, yeah, transform it. Why not? So we're going to start by looking at it. Oh, actually, before we got into the transformation, that's something else that pisses me off. Is this fucking break in the windscreen just here as part of the transformation where you hide these bits in his legs and that becomes his chest. This glaring cut line here bugs the shit out of me. It really does. But as I said, you know, it's not important. So start off by detaching these sections like that. Same on the other side. Fuck me. So bring these sections out and then pop them off these two little bits just here. These pegs. And get the arms out like that. Wait for the camera to refocus. There we go. Jesus. Okay, from there we are going to get these spoilers up just like that because that'll be his fancy little spoiler things. Go ahead and lift the head up now. Click that into place. We are then going to separate these sections just like this and bring this roof section up and then lock that into place. Well, I say lock that into place. That's never fucking happened before. Oh, you fucking cockend. Right, okay. Oh, yeah, it's a Wolfgang 1 review, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I was not expecting that. It's an easy fix. I didn't even know that part came off, quite frankly. So, there we are. There we are. Lock that into place. Right, okay. So then, focus again. Then we're going to pull out the legs. Like this. And these front bits of glass are going to fold in. And then into the leg like that. Bring the foot up. Same again on the other side. Just like that. Fold in the glass. Like, bring up the leg, bring up the foot. Straighten everything up. Like this. Rotate the arm. Well, that's already rotated. Rotate the hand forward. Like that. And ladies and gentlemen, there is Earthrise Wheeljack. Now, he's better proportioned than his G1 counterpart, where his hands came down to his ankles. Kind of would. like him to be a little bit taller, maybe just like an extra centimetre or so in the legs or just here, just so the arms weren't so far down to the knees. Um, decent, decent robot mode. The articulation is okay. Sort of hindered a little bit, I think, by like sort of these back sections or something like that. But I mean, you can get some half decent poses out of him and sort of like whatever like that. I am going to bring the figure in close to the camera for this bit though, and just say that that head sculpt right there is absolutely out of focus. Fuck you. There we go. That head sculpt is absolutely on point. In much the same way that the I think the Masterpiece head sculpt was really, really good. See, this would have been a good example right here. These painted blue eyes just here. No light piping around the back. That little bit there looks like that would have been the perfect fucking cutout or something for a bit of light piping, just to really accentuate those blue eyes against the rest of it. In fact, blue eyes and translucent fucking blue ears would have looked really, really good on this. See, if you're going to go out and make this a sort of the Netflix exclusive version or something like that, and you spent all this fucking time and hassle adding paint scuffing detail, which doesn't actually look very good, you could have just given this model a little bit of an upgrade with light piping around the back, clear blue eyes, and clear talky ear things. But they haven't. So yeah, in terms of his weapon now, this is what I was saying about his weapon. You can either have the weapon handheld like that, which looks a bit shit, or just stick it in his shoulder. So he's got his little shoulder mounted rocket thing, and that's it. That's him. He's okay. He's okay. He's nothing special. He doesn't set the world on fire. The only part of the transformation I find really annoying is this tucking of the glass under his back into his knees, sort of thing. If you were going to have that sort of cutaway section just there, because that thing's on a hinge just then that popped off, I appreciate how they could have that sort of collapse in and fold underneath this section. Although personally, I think that would have been better. Just re-engineer the open canopy section a different way. All in all, he's not bad. He's not bad at all. I just kind of feel a little bit underwhelmed by him. That's the word I was looking for earlier. I feel a little bit underwhelmed by him. And he doesn't do anything offensive. He really doesn't do anything offensive. But he's just, I just look at him and I just go, if I was going to have the Earthrise Wheeljack, I kind of wish I had the one that didn't have all this unnecessary fucking battle damage stuff on it, which, you know, it's not entirely necessary. But certainly not the worst figure in the world. Don't get me wrong. I don't know. It's kind of weird. As I said, I'm a little bit underwhelmed by him, but at the same time, I'm not exactly sure entirely what I was expecting. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is my review for Earthrise Wheeljack. Thank you very much for watching this. I do hope you've going to have a lovely Christmas, because that's just around the corner. Have a good one. Have a laugh. Do whatever it is that you're going to do. Yeah. And I will see you next week. We've got one more review before the end of the year. I do hope you're going to check back for that. That will be my thoughts on G1 Bludgeon, because I've only ever reviewed that figure 2 or 3 times before, and I've never had anything good to say about it. Will this time be different? Tune in to find out. And just as a closing shot, ladies and gentlemen, here is Wheeljack with his Generation 1 counterpart. Yeah. So thank you very much for watching this. I'll be back soon. Until we see each other again, thank you for watching and take care. And when tomorrow comes, I feel you laying by me, like you ain't got nowhere else to go.